Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hello, everybody. I don't remember subscribing to you. Okay. Well. Welcome. If you have any questions about dating, feel free to ask. You got an hour to ask me pretty much anything you want. There we go. A little bit louder, I think. Yeah, I got a fresh haircut. Thank you. Do 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 do. No, I'm not in Eastern Europe anymore. I'm actually back in America. That's why I can do these times. Like later at night or in the evening in America. So that's super convenient for me. I think I can get more people. Oh yeah, always remember 0%. Still going strong sober, so 3.5 years. Bum bada bum bada bum 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 bum. Best city to go out in? I don't think there is one. I think you'll be fine everywhere. DC, Boston, New York. I heard Scottsdale has a lot of hot girls. Anywhere in California. Honestly, everywhere is fine. There's hot girls everywhere. I've never been to a place where there weren't hot girls. You just have to stay long enough. There's gorgeous women all around the world. You just need to find what types you like. Mr. Caution, you didn't seem to write a question. It didn't come up in the live stream. So, I mean, you said that you don't remember subscribing to me, but if you wrote a question and if there was any like profanity or something, I think it might have accidentally filtered it. I don't personally care. Let me turn off moderation activity. There we go. I turned off moderation activity. So maybe you can, put some more salacious stuff if you want. I really don't care. as long as you don't outright insult anyone. So if you want to write it again, it might not get filtered this time. I should actually stream Baldur's Gate while while I answer questions. Would at least be interesting. Problem is, I probably wouldn't pay that much attention, you know. Bum bum bada bum bum bum. Oh wait, do I have Shadow? Oh yeah, I forgot. I can't have Shadowheart naked. If I'm in a camp, I have this character. She's pretty much always naked. And fit to screen. There we go. I'll just like run around while I talk to you guys, I guess. Might be interesting to have something to look at. Oh, 1 second, sorry. I feel like every city has hot girls, but some are more conducive to meeting them than others. I don't think that's true. I mean, dude, I've been all around the world. I mean, I really don't think there's anything really special, to be honest. I gotta be honest. I don't think anywhere is really super special. But some people might disagree. I personally don't think that. I mean, dude, like, you know, California, I've been in, Midwest, East Coast, all around Europe, like so many countries in Europe. I mean, girls are girls, dude. I really don't think it's a big deal. I really don't think it's a big deal at all. By the way, this is Act 3, so if anyone is playing this game and doesn't want to get spoiled, I'm trying to find this zombie, so I'm just gonna run around and look for him. Dude, I really don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. What do you think of John Anthony lifestyle? I prefer not to comment. Pretty much on anybody. You know, I don't like to comment on people. It's just a waste of time. If you like people's stuff and you think it's legitimate, then go try it and test it for yourself. You'll find out if it works or not very quickly. Like, for instance, I had I'll give you an example of like how to test creators, right? Or you know, yeah, content creators, but you know, dating coaches. Is I had an old client that we stay in contact. We stay in contact a lot, and he told me that some relatively new dating coach had reached out to him and wanted to do some work, and he was very insistent and a bit newer, so it's a bit cheaper. And because even the guy is like, yeah, you're way out of my budget now, because I am quite expensive now. And so I gave it a try. I said, yeah, let me know how it goes. And they did one call. And apparently this guy was doing general lifestyle stuff, not just dating, but dating was obviously part of it. And he said the first call was just absolutely horrible. He said he got nothing from the guy. Probably was bad. I mean, he could have just been new and bad at teaching. But compared to me, you know, makes someone look pretty bad. But he said it was horrible. And he wanted a refund, but the guy wouldn't give it to him. So apparently now he's, that, you know, it's a lot of money. I think if I remember correctly, he paid him $1,000. So basically he did 1 hour and paid him probably $1,000 for an hour, which is how much I actually charge. But I'm sure the guy was giving him like a bunch of calls together. But apparently he was horrible. So, but yeah. Actually, you know what? I think what could be fun to play while I do stuff is this. How do you make pickup natural in colleges and in general? I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think you need to worry about making it natural. Making it natural is such a vague phrase. I think you need to work on your fundamentals. I think you just need to make your pickup better. I mean, natural pickup is being good at pickup. That's how you make it look natural. So you need to work on your fundamentals. You need to work on your, you know, body language, your eye contact, your the way that you speak, how you handle awkward tension, you know, how to read her body language and react to it accordingly. Like, I think that you just need to get better. That's how you make it natural. So you need to start asking questions that are useful. So a question like, how do I make pickup natural? It's not a useful question. But what you need to be asking is something like, hey, I went and talked to this girl. Like, what do I... she said this, I said this, you know, I should have said this. That's how you should be thinking. Right? That's how you need to be thinking practically. I had this experience and how should I have responded in that situation? That's good pickup, right? Good pickup is not just, you know, asking these vague questions that only have answers once you have some experience. So, yeah, I think you need to get some experience first before you start understanding the answers to these questions. What game is that? That was Baldur's Gate 3, but now I'm switching it to the finals because Baldur's Gate is like very slow and you gotta like pay attention, whereas this I can just shoot and stuff. How many girls should you talk to get results? It totally depends. I mean, you can talk to 5 girls and get a girlfriend. It's possible. You could talk to 20 girls and get a girlfriend. You could talk to 500 and not get a girlfriend. I guess it just depends on how horrible you are. But I understand kind of what you're asking. So my advice is to approach at least 10 girls a week. If you're approaching 10 girls a week, you're going to make progress. You're going to make a lot of progress very, very quickly. If you really want to make progress, you need to approach 20 girls a week. I think 10 should be a minimum. I mean, if you really want to go low, do 5. But honestly, I could approach 5 girls in 20 minutes. No problem. As long as they're there. You know, just... I could do 20 in a couple hours. No problem. Getting into the fray. How can I get a girl in a lock-in position with my back to the wall without being awkward? I did so yesterday and felt like I could have been smoother about it. So what you can do is you want to like do a transition. So, okay, so here's the wall, right? Now, if I talk to a girl and... One second. Let me get up and show you. Okay. So if I'm talking to a girl and I'm like, hey, let's go talk like over here, right? And we talk like this, where she's here and I'm here. I'm not yet against the wall, right? You don't just immediately go, hey, you know, come here, and then you're locked in and you like grab her over here. That only works if like you already are being super touchy with her, right? If you're being super touchy with her, then you can you can uh you can pull her back like this, right? Let me show you. Let me get a higher angle so you can see. Actually, me. Okay. So, but if you're just like this, if you're side to side, then you can talk to her, you know, you kind of grab her waist, da 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 da. Then over time, you can turn your back, right? And she can still be here, and you can just still be chatting, da 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 da. And you're locked in. You don't necessarily have to have her here. You can just be here, like, but if you're like getting super touchy with her, like, you don't need to be like this unless you're really, really getting like touchy with her. It's not necessary to be so locked in, you know. Or you could already be like your back to the wall, and then she will like she goes off to do her own thing. So you're gonna stand here and you look on your phone, talk to someone, whatever. Then later on, she'll like come back over here, and then now you're posted up, and she'll just be straight in front of you. Then you can be like super locked in. If that makes sense. How tall are you? I'm 5'8". Does height matter when you are well endowed in the downstairs department? It matters a lot less. Here, I'll tell you this. I'd rather be big and short than tall and have a smaller pee-pee. Much rather have that situation. Much better. But, I mean, ideally, you're tall and you got a big dick. At what point did you decide that getting different girls would be the forefront of what you wanted to do? When I realized I was really good at it. And when I realized that there was an industry of it. Like, it was already something I loved doing. And then, oh, there's people actually who make a living doing this. How do I approach girls that are walking in the opposite direction and make eye contact with the girl in the middle, but her friends are walking and she still gives me a slight smile till we part? The best way to do group approaching is they walk past you, and then you run back to them and you say, "Excuse me, girls," and you get all of their attention. And then you say to like all of them, or if it's like two girls, so you look at the friend, you go, "Hey, your friend here," and quickly look at her, is just so beautiful, and I had to come say hi and introduce myself. But if it's a group, then you say, "Excuse me, girls, hi." Get their attention. Wait a second. Then say, "Your friend here is gorgeous. I wanted to come say hi. What's your name?" Meet her, and then meet everyone else, and then see how they react. Usually they'll react in a couple different ways. They'll sometimes just step away and just let you do your thing. Sometimes they'll stay in the conversation and be interested in you, which can help a lot, but it's more difficult because you have to hold a conversation with multiple people, which, you know, should you talk to her more? Should you talk to the girl you like more? You know, if they both start asking you questions, like, it can be overwhelming. Like, they'll both ask you a question at the same time, and you're like, and then they're both flirting with you, and you're like, how do I deal with the situation? So it can be kind of confusing. The easiest is when they just step away and let you talk to her one-on-one. But yeah, that's how you do the actual approach. How do I approach girls that are walking in the opposite? Oh, yeah, that's right. I just read that. When I talk to girls, I try to instigate or pull. Should I go for a date instead so I don't call pushy because there are mixed opinions about it in the industry? Whenever you talk to girls, you try to immediately instigate or pull. That's pretty fucking aggressive. I mean, the chances of you always pulling from the first conversation is very, very low. The only way that would work consistently is if you're doing night game. Then you should kind of always be your goal is to pull. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. instant date, again, well, that's more day game instant dates. If you're trying to instant date from the first time you're meeting her, I mean, her logistics might just not be available. I mean, if she's not free, then that's going to really make it difficult, you know? Like, she has to actually be free. You can't just like, oh, well, if she really likes me, she's just going to go with me. I mean, that's incredibly, incredibly difficult. I mean, you also have to be realistic, you know? Like, I think that it doesn't matter what's works in the industry. Like, you shouldn't be paying attention to what someone's general advice is. I mean, if it's working, it's working. If you can get all the girls that you're talking to on instant dates, I mean, you're doing something incredible, right? You're doing something really, 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 really good. But the problem is just girls aren't going to be that. They're not going to have the schedule to do that. I mean, they got shit to do. So, I mean, yeah, I don't. How you approach chicks you grew up with but rarely interacted with, or just only greet every now and then? Well, you should walk up and you'd be like, hey, long time no see, or, you know, like, I'm assuming you're not seeing her in person, or like you're seeing her on Instagram. Like, how do I catch up with her? If it's like over a message, you say, hey, whatever her name is, long time no chat, how you been? You know, wanted to catch up, see how you are. She responds, hey, it's good to hear from you, da 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 da. Then exchange a few messages and then say, hey, we should totally catch up sometime. Let's go grab a coffee or an ice cream and catch up. Ask her on a date. If it's in person, then you do the same thing, but just in person. Like, say, hey, Sarah, good to see you. Hey, how are you? Da da da. Chat. Same thing. Be like, hey, you know what? It'd be really great to catch up. Why don't we grab a coffee sometime? Yeah, sure, that'd be nice. Cool. I'll message you on Facebook. Or I'm assuming you're already connected with her on social media. Or if you're not, then, you know, get her number. When I go to bars and clubs, I get overwhelmed. The only way you're going to get comfort in bars and clubs is to keep going to bars and clubs. I don't have any advice to help you be less. The only thing I would say is, like, me, when I worked in the industry, that helped a lot. But I was pretty comfortable in bars before then. But I was always willing to go out. Like, look, dude, I'll tell you something very, very, it might sound incredibly simple, but it's also very true. The more excited you are about girls, the easier everything is going to be. Like, if you really, really, really just enjoy talking to girls, that will overshadow any of your insecurities. Sorry, I'm just massaging myself if you see my weird neck angles. So a lot of your insecurities and fears when it comes to girls, you can overshadow it by just the fact that you're really excited to go talk to these girls. I mean, I had my insecurities, I had my fears, my whatevers, hesitations, but I just really liked talking to girls. I mean, I was really horny, and then I just thought they're really pretty and interesting. So that invigorated me. So, you know, how excited about girls are you? If you're not trying to be a player, which you probably aren't already. If you're I'm going to be honest with you, if you're asking me questions like, "Oh, I get overwhelmed at bars and clubs," you're probably not going to be a player. Like, it's probably just not your thing. And that's okay, right? Cuz a player is not having trouble with that. He's asking technical questions. Um, so I would say my best advice would just skip bars and clubs. Just do day game. Being good at bars and clubs is really difficult. It's such a fucking hectic environment. And a lot of the time, it's really not worth it. 5'8" is average height. And a percentage-wise, how much does height contribute to attracting girls? I mean, height is pretty Okay, here's what I want you to think of it this way. I don't want you to think of it as so much as like a scale where like, okay, once you're this height, you're unattractive to women. I want you to think of it more as extra credit. So my height is almost never, I mean, I guess I'm average, right? I've always felt a bit on the shorter end, but I haven't noticed have a huge effect on girls how they actually respond to you. But if you're really tall, it is a huge extra credit. So I want you to think of less as like a theme park ride where it's like you must be this tall to enter. That's a really bad way to think about it. And you should think of it more as if you have this height, it definitely helps a lot. But it isn't even remotely necessary. Because it's really not necessary. At all. You can be just fine without it. So, I mean, if you're 6'5", yeah, you're going to get some attention. You're going to get some attention. You know, 6'1", 6'2", helps. Helps a lot. Necessary? Not at all. I want to learn both of them. Well, to be honest, dude, I would say that, like I said, if you're having trouble mustering up the courage to go in a bar and club, it's probably just not for you. Most guys at the bars and clubs don't approach girls until they get fucked up. So, like this other comment said, it's very normal. Everyone else feels the same way, dude. It's not normal to approach girls. The norm is to not approach girls. So, you having anxiety is normal. It's the status quo. So I don't want you to be thinking that you're doing something wrong. Just do day game. Save yourself a lot of problems. What was the transition like going from American culture to traveling abroad solo? What made you go through with it? Was it rocky at first? Not at all. It's totally normal. It was like anywhere else. In fact, in some ways, I think it was easier because you're foreign. So you kind of have this like adventurous mindset. Or it could do the opposite and be a disadvantage. And you see yourself as totally an outsider. I mean, you are an outsider. So there is going to be some level of, I don't know how to say it, hostility. I mean, you are an outsider. So there is going to be some level of, I was checking out my, feedback to see. Is there any static? No, not too much. Yeah, I didn't see any difference between American culture and foreign culture, to be honest. Nothing